Hello children, welcome to the second video of the poem Chibi. In the previous video, we have seen the poem, understood its stanza wise, and now in this video we are going to take the question answers. But before moving toward the question answers, let us see the animated video of the poem.
Chibi. In this poem, the poet describes a child's views on being continuously nagged by adults. It is annoying when adults scold children for everything they do and say. Adults often tell children to speak up and to not talk with their mouths full. They scold children for staring, for pointing fingers at others, and for picking their noses in public. Adults demand that children sit up. They expect children to say please and to make less noise when they are having fun. Adults remind children to shut the door when they walk out of a room. Children are scolded for dragging their feet while walking, for sneezing without a hanky, and for standing about with their hands in their pockets. Adults constantly nag children to pull their socks up and stand straight. When children try to participate in a conversation, they are told not to interrupt. They are scolded till they take their elbows off the dining table. After all the nagging on what children must do and must not do, adults expect children to take decisions independently.
Let's discuss the question answers now. Before moving toward the question answers of the poem, here are some questions for you that you all have to write in your notebook. I will be giving you sufficient time to write this. These are the extra questions of the poem. Question number 1. Who is the poet of the poem? This already we have discussed. So note down the questions. We know the poet is Michael Rosen. Question number 2. When does one have to say please? This is one of the good manner and you all must be using this. So write down the answer. Question number 3. Why do you think the grown-ups used to give instructions? And in the poem we have seen that the grown-ups used to give the instructions to the children. And for what reason? The answer you have to write by your own. So these are the 3 extra questions which you have to do in your notebook. Now let us move toward the questions of the poem, that is working with the poem. Question number 1. Discuss these questions in small groups before you answer them. And number 1. When is a grown-up likely to say this? Don't talk with your mouth full. In the poem, we have seen that the grown-ups, the adults, they used to give this instruction to the children when they are eating, means when their mouth is full with food. So at that time, it's not good to talk. Question number 2. When are you likely to be told this? Say thank you. Just before this, we have seen that when the children have to use please word and say thank you when definitely someone has given you something or someone has helped you. So as a manner of gratitude, we have to say thank you. Question number 3. When do you think an adult would say this? No one thinks you are funny. Yes, the adults, they used to tell this thing to the children. When the children, either they are too shy to speak something in front of them. We know that sometimes the children, when the guests arrive, the elders, they want that the child should do some actions, do some things in front of them. But the child feels very shy and the child doesn't do anything. So that time, this is one point of the answer. Another point of view can be the children, when they wanted to seek the attention of the elders, when the elders are busy in their own work and the child wants the attention of the elders, at that time also the child used to do the funny movements, the funny expressions. And at this moment also the elders, they used to say that no one thinks you are funny, means don't do such kind of things to just seek the attention of others. The last two lines of the poem are not prohibitions or instructions. What is the adult now asking the child to do? Do you think the poet is suggesting that this is unreasonable? Why? The last two lines, if you remember, we have seen that. What is? Can't you make up your own mind? So at the end of the poem, the poet has asked the questions to the readers and to the elders, that is it reasonable thing that from the childhood we are not giving the freedom to the child to think and to take the decision by his or her own. Then at suddenly when the child turns into a young person, how we can expect that the child can take the decision? So definitely the adult is now asking the child to think independently, and the poet finds this entirely unreasonable because the young child has not been trained to use his or her brain, but he has been only trained to follow the instructions given by the adult. So the child cannot think independently, and so the child is unable to take the decision. So this is the point of view of the poet. Question number 3. Why do you think grown-ups say the kind of things mentioned in the poem? Is it important that they teach children good manners and how to behave in public? Yes, definitely. The adults are constantly giving the instructions to their children for various reasons. There are not only just one reason, but there are so many reasons. They try to train them to behave properly and to live a decent and well mannered life. The manners are very important. If you want to be a good and gentle human being, we need to follow some manners, and to say please, to say thank you. These are the good manners, and every person has to follow this. But here the poet has pointed out the thing that because of this, the elders, they are snatching the childhood of the child, means they are not giving the freedom to the child to enjoy his childhood, or they are trying to rob the innocence of the child. So this is the point of view of the poet. If you had to make some rules for grown-ups to follow, what would you say? Make at least 5 such rules, arrange the lines as in a poem. So as in the poem, we have learned that the elders, they have given so many instructions, so many rules to the children. Now here you have a chance to prepare rules for the grown-ups. Means now you have to prepare the rules for the elder people. So at least try to make minimum 5 such rules, and if possible try to arrange that rules which you have prepared in a poem, means in a form of a poem. So this is activity for you which you all have to do. Now this is one of the important point of the poem which we have to learn, that is the figures of speech. In last year class 6 we have learned only one figure of speech, that is simile. Now what is a figure of speech? A figure of speech is a phrase or word having different meanings than its literal meanings. It conveys meaning by identifying or comparing one thing to another, which has connotation or meaning familiar to the audience. That is why it is helpful to in creating vivid rhetorical effect. So figure of speech is like an ornament. You know that the people, most of the, we find that the ladies, they use lot of ornaments to look good and pretty. So the same is applicable in the writing also. the words which are used in poem, if we have to make it more effective, the meaning, that is the different meaning we have to give than the literal meaning. Means when we read a word, it gives a meaning, but when we go in the deep, it used to have a different meaning also. So for that reason the figures of speech are used, and these are some figure of speech: alliteration, simile, personification, irony, onomatopoeia, metaphor, hyperbole. So these are certain figure of speech, and as I discussed with you that simile we have learned, but just a sort of recap. A simile is a comparison of two things using the words like or as. The most important thing or the easy sign to identify the example of simile is that it contains the words like or as. And the example, as sweet as honey, racing or running like a frightened rabbit. See, the first example as is used, and in the second example like is used. So this is the easy sign of identifying the examples of simile. So let's see some more examples of simile. The snow was as thick as a blanket. She was as light as a feather. You are acting like a baby. He felt like a bug under a microscope. His temper was as explosive as a volcano. Alliteration. This is the second figure of speech. Now, what is alliteration? An alliteration is a repetition of the first constant sound in a phrase. Now, when and for what reason this figure of speech is used? Used to create melody, establish mood, call attention to important words, and point out similarities and contrast. So, these are the few things which we have to learn about alliteration. These are the examples of alliteration. Epic elephants eat edible eggs. If you see the words, all the words have the same sound, that is E sound. So when the same sound is repeating, it is called as the alliteration figure of speech. Then Sheila's son sung solo. S sound is repeated here. And the third example, he has been known to frequently follow football. He has been. So H sound is repeated here. And in the poem, these two examples of alliteration has come. So we have discussed the figure of speech alliteration. Don't drag your feet. The sound D is repeated. Stand up straight. The sound of S is repeated. So I hope these two figure of speech are clear to you. Thank you.